Okay, we're now on page 9 of the Chapter 6 notes. Last page, we're almost done. We're going to look at mixed naming, because you'll be faced with compounds that are both ionic and molecular, and you have to figure out which naming system to use. So you've either got a molecular compound or an ionic compound. If it's ionic, remember that you're going to be going across that staircase. So that's what to look for. So across staircase, or you've got polyatomics, because you've got to have two ions involved. If it's molecular, then you're going to be above the staircase. And both elements have to come from above the staircase. So let's do molecular first. If it's molecular, you're going to use the prefixes. They always end in IDE. So fluoride, oxide, sulfide. And remember, no mono for the first element. Okay, ionic. Here's the rules that you're going to follow for ionic. Name the cation. That's going to be metal of some sort. So name the cation. Next thing you're going to do is ask yourself, do I need a Roman numeral? And if you do, put those parentheses in. So ask yourself, do I need a Roman numeral? And if you do, put in the parentheses. And then you're going to name the anion. And then last off, you're going to figure out the Roman numeral if you have to. And you're going to do that based on the anion charges. And I'm going to abbreviate numeral N-U-M. So that's an abbreviation for Roman numeral. So let's take a look at these examples right here. We have CaF2. We have to decide if it's molecular or ionic. Calcium is a metal, fluoride is a nonmetal, so this is ionic. So I'm going to follow this system here. So I name the cation, calcium. It is an alkaline earth metal. I know the charge. I do not need parentheses. So I go straight into fluoride. All right, NF3. We have to decide if it's molecular or ionic. N and F are both nonmetals. They're above the staircase, so I'm going to use the molecular system. So N is nitrogen. I have 3 fluorides, so I use the prefix tri, and then I finish up with fluoride. All right, last one, CrPO42. We have a polyatomic, which means it's going to be ionic. Cr is chromium. It's a transition metal. I don't know its charge, so I need those parentheses. And then PO4 is phosphate. Now I got to go back and I got to figure out what is chromium's charge. Well, I have 2 phosphates, so each of these is worth a -3. I only have 1 chromium, so I've got to figure out what my charge X is going to be to cancel out 2 -3s. It's got to be a +6. So this is V1 for chromium 6 phosphate. Okay, I'm going to scroll down the page, and we're going to do name to formula going the other way, and we're going to compare molecular versus ionic naming systems. So let's go ahead and do that. If it's molecular. We are going to convert prefixes to subscripts. Remember, subscripts means the number that's down, so convert prefixes to subscripts. And remember, we never reduce for molecular compounds. What it is what it is. Now, for ionic compounds, we're going to write down the cation with charge. The next thing was we're going to write down anion with charge. And I'm going to abbreviate with is slash with charge. Then we're going to crisscross. And then reduce if you can. And you may not be able to. So let's try these down here. We have iron 2 nitride. That's an ionic compound. So we're told that our charge on iron is 2+, so we have Fe 2+. Nitride, you need to memorize that one. It's 3-, so we're going to crisscross our charges, and we get Fe 3N2. Okay, next we've got zinc acetate. Zinc is Zn. This is one of those special ones you're supposed to memorize. Zinc is always 2+. Acetate is CH3CO2 1-. We crisscross and we get Zn1, which we won't write down, and then we have CH3CO2, and we have 2 acetates. So we put a 2 outside the parentheses. And then last we have iodine pentafluoride. So we've got iodine. Penta tells us we have 5 fluorines. So it's IF5. Okay, and that is the end of Chapter 6.